Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I have just come back home. Today, the 6th of May, on the 11th of May, Saturday, I spent my day in Murang'a County and with attending an event of Martha Wangari Karua, who is the Raila Odinga's running mate. I am going to look at that and expect a critical analysis on that, especially matters Murang'a, in my next video. In this one, I wanted us to look at something very critical. Kenyans have been asking questions that the glamorous events and conventions that have been packaged as economic forums and charters that are being signed. There was a charter that was signed. There is a charter that was signed over on Friday between Kenya Kwanza and the host of Women League. What do you think are in those documents? What do you think are in those documents? This is just something that is very that is jittery, of course, to many people. Let me look at first yesterday's event where William Ruto signed charters with a host of women. It was just a bit of what I can say as one for the optics, until it gets to the point of signing, and you have to make sure that you have female lawyers downing their professional regalia, and one for the optics. And if there is something that Kenya Kwanza team gets right, is politics of impression, optics, getting this photo, that photo there, and just creating a perception. And yes, to Kenyans, sometimes this works. There is this article that I bumped on some time back by Donald Kipkorir. It's titled here, UDA charters are empty theatrics tailored to bamboos villagers. Yes, that these charters are just theatrics. And I read that article. It was some 2 weeks ago. I read that article. So when I was watching the county charters, it popped back in my mind, of course, what I had read about it, because I read it and just kept it. What I read there just kept it. So what do you think are in those charters? Because according to Donald Kipkorir, those charters are empty pledges packaged as engagements with the people. But again, you do not underestimate them, because there is a lot of expenditure that goes into organizing those events. They have done Nakuru, they have done different areas until even Northeastern, and there is a lot of money that is injected into those events. So before we look at some few, there is what is seen, or what people should question, that these charters are shrouded in some sort of high secrecy. Of course, during the manifesto, they will be launched. I don't know who is going to sign on behalf of who at the launch of manifesto. They are going to be part of what will be signing will be done. Different counties will be signing during manifesto launch. But again, what exactly is there is something. And the reason why I picked this is because, of course, the counties have not done it yet. But the women one was done publicly and was already signed. If you ask me, it was just an event to launch Hustler Healthcare, just to counter the Baba Care and try to bring women together so that you can run this agenda that it's not about Martha Karua. A bit of it. Now, if you've been keen, after Rigathi Gachagua was named running mate, Rigathi Gachagua and Moses Kuria were picked as the people that will lead the Economic Council, and they traversed different counties, but they were taking over from David Ndii, who had been playing a critical role. The reason why this for me was very serious is because The last economic forum that David Ndii attended was in February, and it was in Nyeri County. This one here.
Na ile changamoto kubwa tuko nayo kueneza mfumo wa siasa ya uchumi ni kutofautisha uchumi na maendeleo. Kwa kimombo, economy and development. Na hapo ndipo nataka mshike. Hapa ukiangalia hizo sekta zimetajwa kutoka kwa kahawa, kilimo, idara ya usafirishaji, idara za sekta za quarries.
Now, if you look at, that was the last event. The rest of these other events, the economic advisory person at the head of, the person that is the author of the Hustler Nation has not been attending. And I tried to inquire from him in Twitter, and I tweeted this and said, at David Ndii, you have been missing in the KK economic conventions. Murang'a and Nakuru, no show. Have you left the advisory work? Moses Kuria and Gachagua were handed some roles on this. And he responded, because this is, if you check my Twitter page, you will find this Twitter. He responded and said, I have a lot of work. I am leading of 200 plus on Friday. I was working with Energy Team. Yesterday, I was working with health team. So he was saying that he's been working at, and I think this will be at the national level. I tend to understand that perhaps this will be on the national stage and not really harboring the counties. From the moment David Ndii stopped attending those events, David Ndii and Owalo, who are the guys that were in charge of the economic aspect in those events turned to be mini political rallies. And I don't want to delve further. Let's just get into this. Specifically, I want us to use the economic forum in Kiambu. There was this Kiambu woman who addressed something on taxation on some loans, and she spoke passionately about this.
Nilianza biashara kidogo kidogo na 5,000 na ilikuwa ya mkopo. Na hii mkopo, the first point, wanatulipisha bei kali sana. Ikiwa kama ni 5,000 huyo John ameshindwa na kujibu, ikiwa tunalipishwa sio hata kama ni mandhere, kama ni 5,000 wanatulipisha 200 per day. Sindio? Kama ni 10,000, 350 per day.
Now, from that clip, she became a UDA sensation. And by the way, when Deputy President was taking her papers to IBC, she escorted Deputy President. She was part of it. Then, she became someone amongst the UDA ranks. Now, look at, through, just in the same economic forum, because she spoke before Moses Kuria, Kimani Chungwa, and Moses Wetangula, and even William Ruto. No one addressed her question, because her question was purely on something on taxation and interest rates, capping of interest rates. It was a very sensitive, and I picked it so because I really wanted to, I was so keen to see how they're going to respond. Moses Kuria never talked about it. Kimani Chungwa talked about the way expressway is expensive. Then Moses Wetangula. In fact, I wanted to listen to how Moses Wetangula was talking about the issue of the legislation.
Na tumeona there is a streak of issues that Kenyans face. Access to affordable credit runs through the whole country. Interest rates on those credits where they're available runs through the whole country. Access to markets runs through the whole country. Lack of value addition runs through the entire country. Tuliambiwa mahali pengine unalima kahawa yako, ukivuna, ukitoka tu kwa gate, broker amengojea. Yeye anakula kila kitu.
Opinion that perhaps these are just theatrics to bamboozle villages. You know, when you do it in the rural areas, and ask yourself, where do you think they've not done Nairobi? And who is going to be in Nairobi? I'll try my best. I'll try my best to attend a charter if they will hold one in Nairobi. But I went in this analysis, I want us to look in depth a little bit why whatever is being packaged as economic forums is falling short of its expectation, and what is really hidden in that agenda. Kindly subscribe to our channel, and if you're within Nairobi and its environs, places where you experience frequent blackouts, kindly reach out to Installate Company. They have amazing offers from 125 to 195,000, and you can get a solution. Talk to Gidiomi. His number is 0722 818 883. 0722 818 883. The one thing that people should understand, one, these chat forums for these charters are just platforms of charging desperate voters. They're just mini political forums, but they're a bit different because the interpersonal between leaders and the distance between leaders and the voters becomes close, and people are very sensational. You understand? You realize that they're just using it to charge the crowd and strategically look at it. I asked even in one of my analysis, you're going to do an economic forum in Nakuru. Do you know why? Do you know something? Number one, Nakuru has a population, voters, let's just use voters, 1.2 million. Then you take 2,000 people to represent the people. Are you genuinely even representing the people? Representing the ideology of the people? No. At this moment, these are political events. This is what I want people to understand. And again, this will be very interesting. These documents, there is a big question. How will the recommendations, the policies, the projects that have been proposed there get their way to implementation if Kenya Kwanza forms government? How? The reason I'm asking how is because, number one, they lack they're not legal binding. No one can take Kenya Kwanza to court that you promised us on subsidy of fertilizer at Trans Nzoia or minimum returns on coffee in central Kenya, and this has not been delivered. It is not there is no structure being held where this is the custodian of this document. Honestly, party is the custodian of that document. But it doesn't have the legal threshold. This is why I'm saying. And let us get an understanding. At county level, there is a 5-year plan that is made. 5-year plan, it's called County Integrated Development Plan, CIDP. Then at the national government, there is annual development plan, and there are different documents that talks about. There are those of the ministry, the ones at the ministry level. Then the annual development, they're made by different ministries also. So when a new government is formed, for example, some of these, and I want to look at the county charters. The people that are to implement those the recommendations of those state charters at county level is the new administration. So, if they are in those charters now, the process of this event or of this proposal getting to be implemented must go through the budget process. In the National Assembly, for example, we are at a level where the president is just is supposed to sign the appropriation bill, the finance appropriation bill. Then from that, control of budget will give a nod to the ministries to access the funds from consolidated fund so that government projects will run. We are past even that. We've gone through all that cycle. You understand? So if you look at it critically, and again, what is spent has a priority and also on budget. Question, someone should attend those charters and ask, How are our proposals going to get their way in budget process? That's where, if they don't get their way there, if they don't get their way in CIDP, there is no way. Secondly, another thing, very interesting, public participation on development projects is not skewed on party allegiance. This process will start afresh after new government, whether there will be counties that will experience transition where there is a new governor taking over. There are counties that will have an element of continuation where the first term governor is getting second term. So both of them, when they start the process of running government, public participation starts afresh. And number one, it is not skewed on party. There is a legal framework on threshold of public participation. It will start afresh. And all these forums where people are putting on UDA shirts and skewed, and it's not there. Public participations we have attended, when you realize that they are very emotive, even though you'll be told that not most of them gets into the final document. But then the process will start afresh. Now, if you want whatever you're proposing to at this county conventions to get to achieve, then you need to prepare yourself to do a follow-up and attend public participation after this general election. Lastly, Kenya Kwanza team are not answering funding strategies. There are only two sources of major sources of government revenue. The domestic source is the taxation, and when that lady spoke about they're being taxed, do you know the reason why people did not respond? Because at the end of the day, they are bamboozling. What they're doing, what Deputy President team are doing, they're just trying to bamboozle the people, the voters. Then if they get the nod, they will say, kulikuwa na deni, we could not do this. Instead of just saying now, this is what is happening. And Raila Odinga team has pronounced themselves on, let's seal the corruption loopholes, then we'll get excess, I will get that. Okay, so this will be, the question on funding must be well answered. And it is not answered because that lady is speaking about taxation, and government is going to get money from tax. I am telling you. That is my bold analysis. What is your take on these chatters?